Welcome back to Cooking with the Coles. Today I'm going to make my mother's famous chicken pot pie recipe. So I was just talking to my son, and for the past 24 years I have made this for a friend of mine. We lived in New York City together, and then we moved to Massachusetts together, and last year was the first year we did not have chicken pot pie. And I guess I should have talked to my son about this before, because he said, why didn't you make it and drop it off at her house? Brilliant. I was not thinking that clearly. So this year we're gonna have her over. And it's a time-intensive recipe, but it's super, super tasty. So you start with a can of chicken broth. I don't do a can anymore. I just take enough chicken broth to put about a little more than a cup and a half into my pan. A better way to do this would to put your vegetables in first, and then you put enough chicken stock to cover them. So our veggies, we have 2 cloves of garlic, about a 1/4 cup of parsley, 1 stick of celery, 2 carrots sliced. I don't cut anything super duper small. I like it to still have some texture and some oomph when we go to eat. And about 15 to 20 pearl onions. You can buy these already peeled, which I didn't know when I first started making this. I used to buy pearl onions and then peel them. Buy them frozen. Huge time saver. Huge. Alright, put this all inside the stock. Bring it to a simmer and cook until they're tender. So the veggies are tender. I strained them. I strained the liquid into a measuring cup, and then I just put all the strained veggies off to the side. These are good to go. I'm going to put them over here. So for the broth, we start with 3 tablespoons of butter. We're just going to melt that down. It's going to go pretty quickly. So we have 3 tablespoons of butter, and we have 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm just going to stick that flour in there. Melty, melty. All right, get a nice little roux going. There we go. And then slowly add your cup of chicken broth. I'm just going to make sure this is all nice and blended together. I'm using the same pan that I used for the veggies. It doesn't matter if you have little bits of carrot and parsley. You want all the little tasty bits. All right, so we're going to slowly add the chicken broth. All right, that looks good. We're going to let it cool just a smidge before we add our heavy cream. So the sauce has cooled a little bit, the chicken stock along with the flour and butter. Next we're going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. You just don't want it boiling hot when you're adding your heavy cream. A few splashes of Tabasco. You really can't miss this step. Once I didn't have Tabasco and I made it without, and it was just not the same pie. It's amazing how much this stuff can do. Little bit of salt. I use low sodium everything. So just a little bit, and then some pepper. I love pepper. Mix it all up. And our sauce is good to go. In addition to our sauce and our veggies, we have about 2 chicken breasts. Now, when I was a kid and I made this, we used to have 4 chicken breasts, but they are way bigger than they used to be. So I just cooked a whole roaster chicken in a crock pot last night, and this is the meat. You can do rotisserie chicken. You can do any sort of chicken you want. Poached is kind of the best because it's nice and soft. So we've got our chicken, our veggies, our sauce, and I have pie crust all ready to go. You can make your own. It's not that hard. Or you can use the store-bought. That's just fine too. So we're gonna scooch over here and assemble. Okay, it's assembly time. Super easy. All you do is you take your chicken, put it in the bottom. Veggies on top. Spread them out. Try to get little onions all evenly placed, your parsley. Spread it out so it's nice and even. Excellent. Next is sauce. I use a deep dish pie crust. I use something for like a deep dish apple pie. I like a lot of stuff. I like a lot in my chicken pot pie, so I go deep. All right, next, your cover. And then you just crunch up the corners. I have one son that loves crust, so I just keep it all in. You can cut it, you can do whatever you want. For me, crust is better. So I just fold it under. have about a tablespoon of heavy cream and an egg yolk. Whisk it up, brush it on. Now you just cut it so it has little steam vents. We're kind of a kitty household here, so I make a little nose, some whiskers, because why not? So now it's ready for the oven. I'm gonna put a cookie sheet, a baking sheet underneath in case it goes over, and it's 450, a preheated oven, 450 for 15 minutes, and then you turn it down to 350 for 35. It's a nice golden crust. Might burn a little, but it's really, really tasty. So into the oven it goes.